Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Chew Effin Lee.
Hey, what's happening, people? This is Chew. Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show. I'm still recovering from the funeral that happened last weekend. I don't know how long it's gonna take for me to fully recover, but I'm talking about like the whole mental and physical drainage that comes with funerals, right? This week I've been so tired, and I think it's just from the exhaustion of the whole month of nightly vigils and then of course staying late at the funeral home. I hope this week will be the week that I get the recovery, but who knows? Some people can recover from it faster than others, while some others take a while, but it's not fun. Funerals are never fun. Alright, so today I wanted to talk about you being unique, so stop being reactive to other people's perspectives and opinions, right, regarding spirituality. Now, religion and spirituality, to me, they're not the same. I was once told that religion divides people, and at first, when I thought about this, it didn't really make sense to me, because I was, in my Jesus stage where everything I wanted to talk about with people was Jesus, trying to convert people. But as I got older and much more mature, it dawned on me that preaching about Jesus openly can offend some people. So I've stopped doing that, but I'm still open to talking about my faith with people who share the similar faith, or who are open to hearing my opinions on it. So, but spirituality, it doesn't divide people. It should bring people together. And spirituality should be a way of opening up your minds to the possibility and the different journeys of other gifted people and of human beings themselves. Now, what bothers me is when I talk to people, and not even talk, but just observing people, and they are so high-strung on how they were raised and what they were taught, that they get so defensive and so reactive when somebody shares their beliefs, and it's different from what they've been taught. To me, this is a common conflict I see happening quite a bit still. And it's sad to me when I see people be so reactive, and then it becomes rude, then it becomes insulting, and just overall, to me, in my opinion, immature. Now, I admire people's faith. I admire their commitment, their devotion to their journey and their faith, but that should be different, in my opinion. It should be different from, don't mix it up with, I'm going to try to prove you wrong because my religion or how I've been taught is the right way. No, in my opinion, we're all unique. Our experiences may be similar at times, but it may be different at times as well. And it should be okay. And this applies to not just spirituality, but morals and values. Yesterday I met up with the admins of the, Facebook group. We had a good hangout. It's fun to hang out with like-minded people. I think we've only met up like twice. This is aside from the spiritual retreat, but when we do get together, to me it feels like it's its own unique retreat. But let's make it more simple. Let's just call it a hangout. And it's just good to be around like-minded people, because you get to know them beyond being a spiritual person. Get to know them more on a personal level, which is always fun. But I remember when we talked about all sorts of stuff. We talked. We went. I think we all had ADD. Well, at least I did. So I'll speak for myself. But we all shared our own thoughts about certain issues, and we all respected each other's views on it. We can disagree, but do it in a polite and respectful way. And there's no right or wrong way to look at any situation or any issue, but it's always good to hear another perspective, because when you hear something that's different from what you've been taught, how you've been raised, you shouldn't take it as an attack. It's more of, let's think about it more, or let's say more about it, and try to open up your eyes, or just be more open-minded about other people's perspectives. So try not to be so reactive when somebody says, well, here's what I know and here's what I believe. When those introductions come up in a conversation, I think the more respectful way or appropriate way to go about it is to just let that person speak. Because you never know, maybe your guides or your sources are speaking through that person to help you open up your minds, because maybe your sources have tried to connect with you to open up your mind about certain things, and you've ignored it. So now they're using that person sitting across from you as another opportunity or another channel to reach out to you. And I think that's something that we take for granted a lot, because again, growing up, we've lived a certain lifestyle, a certain culture, and it's difficult for us to accept things any other way than the way we were taught or the way we believed. And being reactive, I think it just shows your lack of maturity in your spiritual journey. We had a conversation last night about wanting to get to know other spiritually gifted people, whether they're shamans or not. And for me, when I meet these people, I'm very interested in how they do their readings, how they help people. Because I know that it's not a cookie cutter situation. Everybody approaches it a little bit differently. So I don't mean to ask so that I can learn it that way or do things that way, but more of, I've never heard of that, but that's cool. I mean, the end goal here is, like I've said many, many times, is to help heal people, right? That's the ultimate goal of spiritually gifted people. So I'm always interested in figuring out and finding out how others do it. And it hit me yesterday when I think about wanting to know about other people, that maybe there are others out there who also want to know about how I do things. So I think it's a common interest amongst a lot of spiritually gifted people. Now, I do know some gifted people who are very rigid in their way of healing people. And I wonder sometimes, how much more could they be helpful or enlightened if they were not so reactive or defensive about how others do their healings. So remember this, okay? I mean, I guess today's main message is, you are unique. So don't be so reactive and defensive. It's difficult. I get it. Even for me, sometimes I'll admit that when people say things to me regarding spirituality or even just morals and values, sometimes it hits a nerve For example, another discussion from last night's conversation was how Hmong men go over to Laos and marry young women over there. My morals and values tell me that that's not, it doesn't make sense to do that, but that doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. There's people who will agree and there's others who will disagree. So when I talk to other men about this issue, I feel in my heart like, man, this guy is just dumb. Why would he do this? But I have to be respectful to some degree and say, well, if that's what works for you, then go for it. But statistics say it doesn't work out very well, but maybe you might be that little percentage of the statistics that say it will work out. You know what I mean? And there's other stuff, in terms of lifestyle that strikes a nerve with me. But I have to remind myself that that's not my journey, man. The way they're living life is not for me, and I should look at it more from this angle where it's teaching me a lesson to say, don't do it that way. Maybe you encountered that person, or you're having a conversation with that person to remind you not to live that way. So I hope that gives you a different angle on how to see and have conversations with people. And when you react to other people's opinions so strongly, I think you will be missing out on, valuable opportunities. Because what happens when some people you talk to becomes very defensive or reactive? The best thing is to shut down or to remove yourself from that situation, right? So when that happens, the other person misses out on what you have to share with them, which may change their perspectives, and vice versa. If you become very reactive and defensive, and the other person shuts down, then you might be missing out on some valuable information, right? Okay, so I also wanted to share with you guys that I'm talking to the admins right now. Not literally talking to them, but I've thrown out the idea that if we have more of these hangouts, we might open it up to all of you. So for example, if we decide to meet up at a place to just hang out, maybe I'll post it up on the empowerment page, and those of you who want to come and hang out with us for a couple of hours, to just hang out, be around like-minded people, we can talk about whatever. We'll throw that out there if we all agree on it. But hey, you guys can go and do your own little hangouts, and I encourage that. If you know some other gifted people, you should connect with those people and have regular hangouts as much as you can, so that you are around people who will feed your soul spiritually. Okay. Now the interesting thing is, what's going to happen if you guys disagree on certain things. But I think after you listen to the show, I hope that it will help you have a better hangout experience, right? All right, so that's it for today. I don't have really much anything else, but have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.